You can't seriously be buying anything that creature told us, right? I mean, it's practically blackmailing us into doing its dirty work.
To be honest, the conversation went on for so long, I'm not sure I understood all of it. How about you, Dohalim? Were you able to follow it at all?
At the very least, everything it said about the Renan Great Spirit adds up. At the end of the day, this whole chain of events comes back to astral energy. That being said, had we not previously encountered the will of Dana, I suspect I would find its story much more difficult to believe.
The spirit of Rena wants to see Dana completely destroyed.
But why? Astral energy is supposed to be a force that creates and shapes the world.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if we're up against an entire world or what its game is. We're not going to let it destroy Dana.
Right.
There is one other thing that concerns me. How the Great Spirit, the Helganquil, and the Crown Contest are all part of a centuries-long plan is clear enough. But what about the Renans? How do they factor into all this?
Now that you mention it, and all that talk, Hevric 35 never even brought up the Renans once. And as for the Helganquil, we never did find out just what they are either.
Maybe it had a reason for keeping its silence. Or perhaps there's even more going on. Maybe the others will shed more light on the matter. Let's find out. Who are they?
What is it?
Oh, my apologies. It's just been so long since I've seen any humans from the outside world.
Are you a Renan?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. The Overseer told us to answer any questions you might have. Whatever you want to know, we'll tell you as much as we can. But be quick. Our subjects are undergoing a dramatic shift that we don't want to miss.
What a weird guy.
He must have meant Hevrecht 35 when he mentioned that Overseer.
And what was that about subjects? You don't think he meant Dana and Rena, do you?
There isn't anyone else we can talk to. I guess we should ask around here.
Have you guys lived up here in Daeg Fazel with Hevrecht 35 for a long time?
Yes. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head just how long it's been, though. We regularly go into stasis, so our sense of time has gotten rather out of whack over the years.
Why are you all even here in the first place?
Originally, this station was where we worked to perform maintenance on Lenegis from the outside.
We heard that the facility ended up in its current location due to an accident.
Oh, it was terrible. Apparently there was some kind of accident, and when help never arrived, they presumed the entire facility had been destroyed.
And you've been working for Hevrecht 35 ever since?
Well, at first we thought that there was nobody else inside the facility, but then it turned out the Overseer was there all along.
What do you mean?
The Helganquil have the technology to cloak themselves around us Renans. As long as they don't do anything obvious, a Renan won't see one, even if it's right in front of them.
Which would explain why Shion and I failed to notice the Red Women previously. Do they employ an astral art of some sort?
I haven't been able to scientifically confirm it for myself, but from what I understand, the type of cloaking they use is primarily achieved through mechanical means. In addition, they also used hypnosis devices and information control to get us to do what they wanted without being detected. It's a pretty sophisticated operation, especially since it avoids any unnecessary conflict. I have to imagine that's how Lenegis is still run.
But aren't the Helganquil themselves controlled by the Great Spirit? If so, why aren't Renans affected by it in the same way?
The Great Spirit's mind control only works on Helganquil, so they had to employ other means to manipulate us Renans.
You act like this didn't affect you personally. If I was you, I'd be mad as hell at their deceptions.
I mean, sure, I was surprised when I first found out about it, but it happened so long ago.
Hevrecht 35 has clearly ceased concealing itself, though. Why is that?
Who can say? My guess is it just got bored, or maybe even a little lonely.
Don't you want to go back home to Rena or Lenegis? Our ship is going to be fixed pretty soon. You could ride with us.
No way. If we went back after knowing the truth, they'd either just brainwash us or purge us outright. After all this time, there's nothing to be gained from going back. We've all agreed it'd be best to simply stay here and watch everything unfold instead. Things are going just fine with the Overseer. Not that it'll be around much longer. It can't extend its life any further. That said, I'm sure it's pleased to see the final stage of the plan before it passes on, though.
Thank you for answering our questions. Can we talk to you for a few minutes?
Sure. It's going to be a while before the two planets undergo their next shift, so I can talk until then.
Please, tell us what you know about the Helganquil.
You mean the Overseer's species? I can't say I know much about them.
Well, for starters, where'd they come from?
Where else? From Rena, obviously.
From Rena? Wait, are you telling us those things live right alongside the Renans down there?
Of course not. There's really no such thing as Renans in the first place.
Excuse me?
Oh, I thought the Overseer explained everything.
Apparently not.
Please, tell us more.
Well, in a nutshell, the Renans were originally created from Dahnans by the Helganquil.
But if that's true, then that would mean there aren't any people on Rena.
There aren't. But there are Helganquil. That's what the name literally means in their language. People of Rena.
But what need could they possibly have to create a whole new race of people?
It was a way to bolster their dwindling workforce. I trust you're aware that the Helganquil are on the verge of extinction, yes? In essence, we were created to carry on their work for the Great Spirit after they all die. They gathered Dahnans who had an affinity for astral arts and proceeded from there. That's why we, as their descendants, can all cast arts, albeit to varying degrees.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying Renans were originally created from Dahnans that the Helganquil kidnapped?
Wait, that explains why almost nobody can use astral arts on Dana now.
Helganquil technology is truly amazing. The way they alter their bodies is far less invasive than your conventional surgeries. They have these tiny machines that are practically invisible, which they insert into their bodies and—
Enough! You needn't tell us anymore.
How can you speak so calmly about all of this?
I guess I can see how, when viewed in a certain light, their ways may sound grotesque. But if you ask me, I think they ultimately did us a favor. They saved us from crawling the earth in ignorance. If it meant their hands had to get a little dirty in the process, then so be it. Anyway, the Helganquil are the real Renans. Personally, I don't think it's such a big deal. They're also mostly the ones behind what you see going on between the two planets. I think that covers just about everything worth knowing.
I see. Thanks for filling us in.
Does he really expect us to believe that Renans never truly existed? How absurd.
Dohalim.
Just when I think we're getting to the bottom of it all, some new revelation smacks us in the face.
Then let's hope this is our last revelation for a while. Do you know anything about a spirit channeling plan?
If you mean the first plan from 300 years ago, then yes. Do you know what its main objective was?
Yes. It was to use Lenegis to siphon off Dana's astral energy and send it to Rena.
Exactly. However, there were two problems we had to consider. First was how to collect and send such a large quantity of astral energy without it becoming sentient. Second, we had to figure out how to convert Dana's energy so it would be compatible with Rena.
I take it the solutions to those problems were to use the wedge for the collection, and then the Sovereign and Maiden to convert the energy.
We have a winner! However, the first plan failed when the Sovereign was overwhelmed and became frenzied. The reason for that is because the Maiden lost control. I'm told he slaughtered many Renans in Helganquil that day. For the next plan, we tried to recreate the Renis Alma, but we didn't have nearly enough of the other non-dark astral energy types. To amend that, we set our sights on Dana, and implemented a system whereby we could extract energy from it.
And the crown contests began.
Correct. Since the Maiden had been the failing point in the previous plan, it was decided to replace her role with machinery to avoid further mishaps. A new Sovereign had to be made as well. It was such tremendously difficult work, its success was dubious. But from the look of things, it would appear such worries were unfounded.
So that's what the purpose of that room we found in the Forbidden Zone was.
What about the flower that sprouted from Rena?
Flower? Oh, that thing. That's the physical manifestation of all the astral energy that's been harvested from Dana. As I'm sure you've noticed, it's quite a lot of energy. At this point, it's likely that it's become physically integrated with Rena's planetary structure.
Heverick 35 mentioned that the spirit channeling plan is entering its final stage. Is that true?
It is. I never thought I would live to see the day with my own eyes, and yet here we are. Are we done talking now? If it's all the same to you, I'd really rather not miss anything that's about to happen.
He talks like the potential end of the world is just another day on the job.
You've got to remember that these guys have been living alone up here for a long time. Who knows what shape their minds are in?
It feels like our whole world has been turned upside down. Is there anything we know that's still true at this point?
Seriously, I'm still trying to process the fact that we Renans were created by the Helganquil, let alone the Sovereign and Maiden stuff.
Let's take a moment to gather ourselves. I know all of this is a lot to believe and take in, but I think it's fair to say that we've found the answers we've been looking for. Does everyone agree?
Agreed. Though I'll admit that I never expected it to all boil down to Rena's great spirit being behind everything.
Everything that's happened, everything we've endured, it's all because of astral energy.
And to get that energy, the Great Spirit took control of the Helganquil. Then the Helganquil created the Renans, who went on to invade and rule over the Dahnans.
Plus, the reason the Great Spirit can't directly control the Renans as well is likely because they were originally Dahnans all along.
Either way, I think it's fair to say we've all had a lot to take in at once. Maybe too much, even. We should probably take it easy and rest our minds a bit. Why don't we all take some time to think things over, before we decide on our next move?
That's a good idea, Kisara. If the Renan Great Spirit really is behind all this, then we've got a really big fight ahead of us. Because it's not just Dahna on the line, but Rena too. If we're going to do this, we need to be completely sure of ourselves. So let's go ahead and break off for now. We aren't in any immediate danger, so we should be okay. You sure you don't want to be alone right now?
I could ask you the same question.
I figured I'd get all my thinking in while walking around and checking up on everybody.
I'll go along with you. I'm interested to hear what's on everyone's minds too.
Sounds good. Let's go find them.
Everyone's just gone their own way, huh?
Yeah. Everything we thought we knew. It was all just a fabrication that the Red Women, that the Helganquil made up.
Right. Assuming we can believe anything that Heverick 35 has told us, that is.
Well, if the names are anything to go by, it's possible the Helganquil could be behind the fruits of Helgen too.
But if Heverick 35 was telling the truth, and this was all just one massive lie, does that mean everything we've done up until now has been pointless?
No, I don't think so. Or at least I hope not. I think it just means we've lost our foothold for now. That's all.
Really? Well then, if we've lost it, I guess we'll just have to find another. All of us together. And if we can't find one, then we'll make a new one. End of story.
Make one, huh? I see. Right then. Count me in.
Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's doing any better now?
He who? Oh, you mean Dohalim, don't you?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all, but he looked like he was taking it really hard earlier.
What do you think about everything we've learned? About the Renans and the Great Spirit and all that?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster, but with a mind and will of its own. But if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, then the only thing left for us to do is stop it. As for the Renans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
How so?
Coexistence between Dahnans and Renans in Menancia is still a work in progress. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Renans. So, to be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is, well, I guess it's a little deflating, to be honest.
You kept a pretty level head.
You mean about the Renans? At the end of the day, the Helganquil and the Great Spirit are the ones who are responsible. But at the same time, I realize that not every Dahnan is necessarily going to believe that either.
I know you're already aware of this, but the list of grievances the Dahnans have against the Renans is long, and understandably so. And if people then find out that they're all actually one and the same, yeah, I don't think they're going to take to it too kindly.
Even just among the Dahnans, I'm sure there'll be some who emerge with power and some who won't. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance, then we'll be in a truly good place.
Well, first we can try to figure out what to do about the existing conflicts we have.
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get past their hatred like Rinwell did.
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the past didn't happen and ask people to forget their very real pain and suffering.
Right. Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that they do. But if we just keep yelling at each other about it, we'll never move on. In a worst-case scenario, it might lead to even more people getting killed.
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway. Not just that, but to also embrace each other's pain, in a sense.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's true. Everybody has their own scars, their own trauma. The first step to healing those wounds is to put aside that hatred. It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first step, if nothing else. And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that, first we need to make sure our planet isn't going to get wiped out.
You both seem awfully calm.
Only because after everything we've seen, we don't have the energy to keep being shocked.
How are you holding up, Rinwell? That whole talk about the Renans looked like it shook you up a bit.
Yeah. I get this sinking feeling whenever I remember how Dahnan mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now, I finally know why that is. But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Dahnans again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dahna anymore, right? I know it's not as simple as all that, but Dahnans probably won't be so quick to let their guards down, and there might be Renans who still act superior because of their arts.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing to overcome.
Yeah. I know firsthand just how much hatred can take hold in your heart once you let it in. But even so, I was still able to change. And if I can change, so can anyone else. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Dahnan and a mage to help bring both sides together.
Rinwell.
That great spirit worries me too, though. Dahna's will feels so warm and inviting. So why is Rena's will trying to destroy our entire planet?
Now that you mention it, Everett 35 and the other scientists here never really brought that up. Maybe they don't know either.
Maybe. But regardless, at the end of the day, Dahna's still our home. There's no way we can let it be destroyed.
We won't. We'll keep it safe no matter what.
I apologize for making you witness that.
You mean hearing the origins of the Renans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, it's a rather elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shionne. About your thorns, and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Renans out there.
When you say the other Renans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegis or Dana, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dana, our problems will still remain. Putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis, or come down to Dana, huh? And right now, Lenegis might not even be a safe option.
And at the same time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome between us. And the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Renans. Our own circumstances as the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people reconciling.
Menancia's fate was a stroke of good luck. There had been backlash over how it had been ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still, even now, there remain ardent dissidents.
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way. Isn't that what you hope to achieve on Lenegis, after this is all over?
Indeed. I have fully accepted the burden of that responsibility. In that regard, I remain determined. On that note, I have something of a favor to ask of you, Alphen.
Oh? What is it?
I wish for you to serve as a mediator so that the Renans can live on Dana peaceably. As the one and only Blazing Sword, I suspect the Danans may listen to what you have to say when problems arise.
And I take it that you'll be the one to represent the Renans?
Yes. I realize that I'm asking quite a lot of you. However, the fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Danan society without any bloodshed. That is why...
You're the same as ever, Dohalim.
Is it too much?
No, relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's no need for that. We're friends.
You're too kind. I can see you were raised well.
That's some high praise, Alphen.
Then I'll ask once again, this time just as friends. Alphen, will you help me?
You don't even need to ask. Of course I will.
Thank you, my friend.
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memories started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
It was really that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together?
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad, and running away from the truth. That was no way to live. And I've tried to stay strong, my way. But all this talk about other races and the world ending, If I can be honest with you guys, it's just all too much for me to handle right now.
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff right now.
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to teach me what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important, what I really care about, all I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me, to fight for them. That's good enough, right?
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was still alive. Law, you know you're strong enough to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people you care about. Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of what you want to protect in the first place. Sound good?
Yeah, I think it does. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'll fight to protect the people around me. Just like I always have. I think that's best.
Well, it sounds like everyone's learning from their past and using it to create a better future for everyone.
What about you, Shionne? How do you feel about the origin of the Renans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them. Right now, it's kind of a mystery.
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if or when, but how. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you, fighting to save Rena and Dana. I mean, how could I have? It's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the Helganquil's part in all this, it's been even longer than that. It was Naori's hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to stop it, before it was too late. How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call is a mystery.
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed. She considered me, a Dahnan, as a real person. And she very much cherished her own people, too. I don't think she wanted the world to be saved, just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant.
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace each other's pain and suffering. She said that the first step down that path was for each of us to put aside our own hatred. That means forgiving other people, even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving. So it goes both ways, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't just mean forgiving things that happened in the past either. Conflicts will keep happening. If we have any hope of moving on and building a better future, we have to all learn to forgive each other.
You know, you're right. People can hurt one another without even meaning to. I know that better than most, thanks to these thorns.
It's not going to be easy getting past this pain. But if we can do it, I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly understand each other. I'm there with you, Shionne. I too want to protect the world we live in, and all the people we care about. I think that's the very least I can do to repay Naori for everything that she did.
Yeah. I want a future that she would feel proud to live in, and I'm going to fight for it.
Whoa there, Savior Girl. We're here to save you too, you know.
Yes, I know. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I want to live, and that's the honest truth.
Is everybody ready to do what needs to be done?
I am. There's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, Dan is still in danger. I don't care who we're up against. We'll kick their ass.
What are your thoughts, Alphen? I want to know what's on your mind, too.
Like Law said, if we have to fight the Great Spirit on Rena, then so be it. It's trying to rob us of our entire world, and it's going to take not just our home, but all of existence along with it. That alone is enough to make it our enemy. But it's not only that. One way or another, I think beating the Great Spirit is going to be tied to us saving Xion.
You're saying there's a chance?
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lenegis, I take it?
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Xion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Xion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy, the one type which we know is native only to Rena. And if Rena's great spirit is what's behind Dana's pending destruction, then...
Xion's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Rena like we thought?
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the Great Spirit.
While the main body resides in Rena.
Xion.
If these thorns really are a part of Rena's Great Spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it a piece of my mind and then some.
The question is, how do we confront it? Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Rena is enormous, large enough to house the will of an entire planet. The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right. This is an altogether greater challenge for merely 6.
And we only know about the Thorns connection thanks to Naori.
Heverick 35 has been observing the Great Astral Spirit this whole time. It wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Let's go see what that is. Our minds.
So if the Sovereign and Maiden were originally boot-up programs for Lenegis, what about now?
Even with the Forbidden Zone in ruins and the Renis Alma stolen, Lenegis is functioning fine. If it needed us before, it doesn't appear to now.
First they lumber you with a position you never asked for, then you're discarded like you're nothing? Who the hell do they think they are?
More importantly, who do they think we are? We might not even factor into their list of concerns.
I just hope everyone on Lenegis is safe.
Worst comes to worst, Lenegis is equipped with a large number of starships that people can escape in. As long as the whole satellite doesn't suddenly explode or something, they should be fine.
Wait, explode?
In any case, if we're truly going to make a difference, it's on Rena we're needed, not Lenegis. The people there will be fine, I'm sure of it.
Right.
Do you have your answer for me?
We want to ask something first. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. How exactly do you expect us to do that? You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not run throughout its entire body. Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body, and is where its strength is most densely concentrated. Therefore, if you destroy the core, the Great Spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience, and return to being ordinary astral energy.
And how are we supposed to destroy that core?
By using the Renus Alma. You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are our best tools for suppressing and controlling astral energy. Using their powers, the Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign shall wield the power of the Renus Alma to destroy it.
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Shion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right all along.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit, and disperse its energy widely enough to make it difficult to reform.
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat the great astral spirit?
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be erased.
So it really will kill me.
This method is the most simple one available to destroy the Great Spirit, and is therefore our most reliable option.
What are our other options?
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most optimal among them is so clear.
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't die, that we'd save the world without needing to sacrifice her. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very end. If there's any other way to take out the Great Spirit, I want to hear it.
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world. Abandoning it is irrational.
That's...
It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Rena's great astral spirit already resides within her. 300 years ago, the Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to assume direct control of the spirit channeling ceremony. We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind, and that it now resides in the Maiden.
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis correct.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core, and can be used by the great astral spirit to revive itself. So long as it remains, it will be all but impossible to fully eradicate the Great Spirit. That is why it is necessary for it to be vanquished only once it is whole. Without the Maiden's direct control over the Great Spirit, attacking it is futile, and will only serve to strengthen it.
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renus Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns could be neutralized by placing them in it. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Renus Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain the great astral spirit.
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the level of the spirit channeling ceremony, considering that the Renus Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed. I cannot allow it. Its uncertainty is simply too great.
What does that mean for us if you won't allow it?
Your starship will not be restored, and you will all be unable to leave here.
Why you?
Fine then. I'd rather stay here and rot than do it your way.
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy it. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, then I'd rather do nothing. We want to stop Dana from getting destroyed. We want to save it. But not if it means having to sacrifice one of us in the process. If all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, Then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Alphen.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Renis Alma are my species' greatest achievement. I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our demise by its hands.
But what are we supposed to do about the Renis Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on Lenegis.
It is likely that the Renis Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning as a catalyst for it to receive Dana's astral energy.
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit and take it back?
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of Rena, where the Great Spirit's core is located.
So right in the middle of that giant flower, then.
I have one more question. You've said that Rena's great astral spirit is already integrated with the planet. What will happen to Rena once it vanishes?
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Rena is predicted to collapse. Even in such a scenario, the energy will disperse, and the Great Spirit will likely not reform.
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying it, we'll still be in danger?
Likely, the collapse will occur in stages. It is recommended that you all escape before the final stage.
Man, I wish that thing would tell it to us straight for once.
Hevrek 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar, is all. Fix our starship. We're going to Rena.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. We're not doing it for your sake, or because you told us to. Remember that.
It matters little to me. The end result shall be the same. Repair work on your starship has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Man, is it too much to ask?
Is the Renis Alma really our only hope against the Great Spirit? There has to be another way, right?
Shion's Fire Master Core was able to suppress astral energy to prevent it from gaining sentience, right? Couldn't we make use of that somehow?
I'm not sure. In small doses, maybe. And with the amount of energy we're talking about here.
Back in Calaglia, the Blazing Sword was able to take in a whole spirit vessel's worth of energy. If it has the capacity to manage that, it can do this, right?
Except after it absorbed the energy, it ended up releasing it all moments later, remember? Let's not forget, it nearly killed you. Besides, this is the Great Spirit we're talking about, not a paltry vessel. Even if I could use the Master Core, your body wouldn't be able to take the strain of channeling that much energy.
Hevrek 35 didn't mention it, and it did not seem the type to skimp on details. So assuming it's even possible, the chances are slim to none.
You're probably right.
You still thinking about what the scientists told us? About where Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Dahnans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head-on, don't you?
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead. Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were. I hated them just for being Renan. But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity to see them in a different light. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that. There were those of you who were good, and that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Dahnans.
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
Yeah, it is. When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance to come to an understanding. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking of them as people that you can relate to.
I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about massive numbers of Renans and Dahnans alike. Realistically speaking, surely they won't all be able to get along.
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, maybe we'll find better luck among their friends. If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something worth nurturing and protecting.
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright? To deal with one another as humans, and nothing more? That's the ideal future you hope to see when this is all over?
Yes, I do. I think it would make for a fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and foremost. Do you still plan to return to Lenegis when this is over?
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegis proper, however. My first order of business may be to find somewhere to live.
You'll always have a home in Menancia, you know.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always be there for you, Doe.
Did you just... Never mind. Thank you, Kisara. I appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
Don't even mention it. And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different after all, don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before. But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Hey, why'd you call me here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, then we're getting close to our final battle. So I wanted to apologize while I can.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before, about whether Dana's will had been controlling us and all that. I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned. So, I'm sorry, Rinwell. Really. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something. Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
But you really trust Dana's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. But I think I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning, even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dana's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and warm it was. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah.
Well, alright. Then I promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trust it, Rinwell, and that's enough for me. So I'll trust it because you do.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and everyone else.
You... what?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside each of us? In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dana's will?
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dana's astral energy inside us...
Yeah, maybe...
Heverick 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for. That's who I am now. Who I've become. So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me.
Ah.
To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dana's will... well, I mean, it mostly was... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried it was because...
Huh?
Never mind. Nothing. Just forget about it.
Huh? No, what were you saying?
Saying? I don't remember
Come
saying
on.
anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were thinking?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
You sure you don't want to get some rest?
I can't. I've got too much on my mind. Especially knowing how close our last battle is. How are you doing, Xion?
Same as you, still trying to absorb everything.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dana? All of that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah?
If we can't find the Renis Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Hevrecht 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Rena and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Renis Alma back, you'll use the Blazing Sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh?
It's true the Blazing Sword may not have the strength of the Renis Alma. But it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts. At the very least, it has to be worth a try.
You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything
Listen,
that we've...
the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world. Renans and Dahnans alike. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it, but we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second-guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
Okay. But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Shionne. I'm going to fight this until the very end. I hope you can forgive me for that.
Alphen. Okay, I understand. And I'll forgive you.
Thank you, Shionne.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because Shionne,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting all day.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only descend down to Rena, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
We're fighting for a new future for both Dana and Rena.
Right. We've come this far. We will save our worlds. That's a promise.
Then let's go, everybody. We've got one last wall to tear down.
Repairs on your starship are complete. Everything is in working order.
Is that you, Hevrecht 35? You can see us from where you are?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of Dake Faisal.
Sounds like someone's a peeping Tom.
Maybe we should give Hevrecht 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere without being detected.
Wait, should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt to save my kind.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
Well, come on, Doe.
Hold up, did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy. Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable. Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
It's hard to explain. To be honest, I don't think it's something an observer could understand. All right. Time to get back on the Fall Knights.
It would appear that our Helganquil host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is dead.
Then this must be the Hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dana.
So arresting. This world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude, until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dana, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dana's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
So this is Rena.
A hollowed ocean as far as the eye can see. What do you think would happen if we fell in?
What do you mean, what would happen? You'd drown, wouldn't you?
Come to think of it, I don't believe I've heard of someone ever trying. Perhaps you'd like the glory of being the first?
Nah, I'll pass.
This is essentially a world-sized Renan graveyard. Are you proposing to disturb the dead slumber just to satisfy your curiosity, Law?
No, because I said I passed.
Taking an interest is understandable, but let's not forget where we are. This place deserves our respect.
Looks like we're not going to be hearing the end of this one for a while.
You'd think I was already snorkeling in it or something. So the idea is to seal the Great Spirit inside the Renis Alma using the Sovereign and Maiden's power. But just how do we do that exactly?
I'm guessing it won't be as easy as holding a spirit channeling ceremony at our leisure.
I already had wielded astral energy once 3 centuries ago. As for suppressing her thorns, Shionne's had a lifetime's experience. The problem isn't just our enemy's strength, it's that it's sentient too. And you can bet anything you like it's not going to just sit back and let us destroy it.
In other words, we need to find some way to weaken it in advance. The Great Spirit, that is.
Back when Shionne's thorns flew out of control, we were able to deal with them directly. If this is their host, they should be even more corporeal here.
If that's the case, it should make them easier to attack at least. And if we can manage to divert enough energy away from the spirit's core, even temporarily,
we might just be able to weaken it enough to steal the Renis Alma, which we can then use to seal it away forever. It won't be easy, but it's our only shot. Time to buckle up. Question for you. Let's say, knock on wood, everything turns out for the best.
What'll the world be like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, do you really think everything will be that different?
A lot will have to change, that's for sure. The world will have to adjust to so much. My only worry is if those changes turn out to be merely skin deep.
What do you mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renin rule. But if it just turns the tables, it's all for naught.
That's true. Just as bad if the Dahnans started pressing their own.
Renins, Dahnans, astral art users, mages. The world is full of labels used to divide and separate people.
If only we could see differences like that for what they are. No different to someone having a musical talent or being good with their hands. Not differences so much as characteristics.
It will take someone in power to set an example. But with time, people will follow. And then, perhaps one day...
there will no longer be any need for the example. It will have become second nature.
That's where we come in. We can set the example. Imagine it. A world where magic and astral arts are used to help people. Where that's the norm rather than the exception.
Yeah, you're right, Rinwell. Why wait for somebody else? We can show them ourselves.
I wonder what Helganquil's civilization was like at its zenith.
I can imagine that'd be something you'd take an interest in.
There's no question it must have been advanced, like none either world has ever seen. We could surely stand to learn a thing or two from such a people.
I get that you're itching to delve into its history, but we've got bigger fish to fry right now.
Put a pin in it, and you can do all the research you want when you retire.
I can think of worse things than a retirement dedicated to research. As for whether Rena is amenable to an aging specimen...
It's a little early to be giving it serious thought just yet.
A man can dream, though. A man can dream.
Oh, we didn't say there's anything wrong with dreaming.
In your case, Dohalim, dreams have a habit of spiraling into something else.
You'll need to stay with us for now, though. You're too helpful to let retire.
Why do I feel this is less of a compliment and more of an ultimatum?
Just a friendly suggestion.
Judging by the...
Hey! Hey, I just realized something!
Is this about dinner last night? I didn't realize those ingredients were off.
What? No! I mean, wait, you fed us rotten food?
Rinwell, the point.
Oh, yeah, right. So I was thinking about those armored soldiers we've seen. There are regular Renans inside them, right?
Yeah, they're designed to make whoever's wearing them stronger. At least, I think that's the idea.
Right. So it kind of begs the question then, why are they made so huge?
I don't know, makes them more intimidating, I guess? Or maybe all that tech wizardry inside takes up a lot of space.
You don't think it's weird how the armored soldiers are the exact same height as the Helganquil?
Can't say I'd ever noticed it till now. And?
Connect the dots, Law!
Okay, let me get this straight. You think the armored suits might have originally been designed to allow Renans to work alongside the Helganquil?
Huh. But if that's true, what would that mean?
It would mean... just that, I guess. But still, don't you think it's kind of interesting?
Not hugely. Hey, Kisara, while I've got you, what's on tonight's menu? Because I was thinking, maybe meat?
Get him, Hootle.
What did I do?
Oh, now you want to listen. Keep pecking, Hootle!
Ow! Seriously, what the hell? You know, guys, when you think about it, we've taken out a lot of Zeugles. Like, a whole lot.
You can say that again. If one thing's for certain in this world, it's that wherever we go, we'll always end up bumping into them.
Isn't it weird that they're still so plentiful? You don't think the Renans have, like, a ranch where they breed them, do you?
Certainly in all of my years, I've never heard of them constructing such a massive facility on Dana, let alone up in Lenegis.
The only thing I can think of, then, is that the feral ones must be reproducing on their own.
There's also no organized effort on our part to hunt them down, so it's difficult to fully exterminate them.
Exterminate them? Whoa, don't you think that's maybe a little harsh?
What do you mean?
Zeugles originally used to be living creatures native to Dana and Rena, right? Being genetically modified isn't their fault.
You're right. Zeugles were only created because of us Renans. We altered the original creatures to suit our own ends.
First people made Zeugles, and then we let them go. And now we're trying to kill them because they're a threat. They really have only seen the very worst, huh?
I hope we find a way to be able to live side by side with them one day.
It's a nice thought, but they attack towns and cities. What else are we supposed to do?
Aside from the strays that have gone wild, it's worth remembering that Renans are able to keep them somewhat under control.
If we had distinct territories that didn't overlap, that might reduce the danger they pose.
Well, I guess when you look at it that way, maybe people and Zeugles aren't so different after all.
You can never be too prepared. But did we have to spend so much?
Looks like we've warped into that pit of astral energy.
Helganquil!
Guess they don't need their Red Woman disguises anymore.
Wait, can you understand us?
It's no use. We're not going to get through to them.
So they really are being controlled. In that case, we've got no choice.
I knew there was something off here!
They're not pulling punches. We have no choice but to beat them at their own game. Another incantation ruined.
May 1,000 gales strike! Now it's my turn! Lightning condemned!
Double demon fang! Take this!
A wailing banshee of
Slap
lightning!
the shock!
Lunar corruption!
Okay.
Light astral energy!
Take this! Light! I'm not done! On astral bolt!
That's my cue!
Shut him down!
Will this help?
I'm nearly done for.
Double demon fang!
Okay, here I go.
Double demon fang!
Shine! Radiant light!
Here I come! Double demon fang! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Water astral energy!
Double demon fang!
Not much longer to go.
Come on, one final push!
Let's do this together.
Stalagmite! Our arts are being interrupted.
Double demon! Double demon fang!
Elusive deity!
I'll heal you all!
Double demon fang!
Healing soul!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
They're surrounding
Double
the
demon!
I'm all done! Dance in the wind!
Take this!
Show thy mystery!
Ignite!
Chain between heaven and earth!
Double demon!
In a bind?
Try harder! Now! Here I come!
Divine savior! Blah, blah, blah!
I'm ready!
Light astral energy!
Double demon fang!
Searing flame!
Raging lunar storm!
Do it!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclops!
There!
Now! Take this!
Illuminate the chaos! Here! Now! Astral energy!
Say no more!
Alphen.
I can't forgive them for what they've done, but I hate killing them. They don't even know why they're fighting. How does that even make them any different from the Dahnan slaves?
Perhaps. However, if we don't make a choice, the guilt of not doing anything will be that much worse.
Yeah, I know. I hate for it to be like this. But if it happens again, you won't find me hesitating to act.
I wonder if we're going to get attacked again.
If we lose heart now, this whole mission is over. have to stay the course.
I thought there'd be more dirt and rocks and stuff underneath the hollowed ocean, but it's all artificial.
I would imagine they're remnants left behind by the Helganquil, seeing as there's little actual land remaining.
It's incredible. Do you think it stretches all the way down to the center of the planet?
Hey, these guys built Lenegis, remember? They probably did this in a weekend.
If they had the power to create things like this, did they really only use those immense capabilities to serve the Great Spirit? Or rather, was that the only use the Great Spirit let them use their capabilities for? We haven't seen anyone here except Helganquil. Looks like this place really is their home planet.
The true citizens of Renna. What a shame that they have become nothing more than puppets to the Great Spirit. To think of the promise their accomplishments once held. They had the potential to be great indeed.
Do you think we could have got along with them? You know, if we had met under different circumstances. Like
all of us, you mean? I suppose it's difficult to say for sure. We don't even know if they would see us as being on an equal level with them or not.
I think we may have had the chance once, before the Renan Great Spirit came along and changed everything.
You and Alphen both share an optimism. A strong willingness to believe in hope.
Do you think that's foolish?
On the contrary, I should like to take a leaf from your book myself. In tragedy's aftermath, hope is all we have.
Just look at the size of that thing. The Helganquil's technology certainly is impressive. And they don't seem to do things by halves either. In the past 300 years. No, even before that. Just how many people, Renan or Dahnan, do you think have ever seen this?
Regarding the past 3 centuries at least, I'd say there's a good chance that we're the first. Also, while I get that it's impressive and all, I'm just amazed you're still standing around gawping at it at a time like this. Sometimes I wonder about your priorities.
I can understand where he's coming from. More to the point, does anyone know where it leads?
What do you mean where it leads? To the center of the planet, of course.
And that doesn't strike you as sounding just a little bit, oh, I don't know, far? There has to be a quicker way to get there, right?
Yeah. With all this technology at their fingertips, it seems pretty unlikely that they'd make that kind of journey on foot. There must be some kind of device somewhere. Let's see if we can figure out how to use it.
Borrow one of their contraptions? You're either brave or out of your mind.
If it works for them, there's no reason it wouldn't for us. Why make things harder for ourselves?
You know what he's like, Law. Once he gets an idea in his head, there's no talking him out of it.
Don't get careless!
Don't tell me!
Orochi's Fury! Damn it!
The shield of pure reflexes will not serve you well here.
Orochi's Fury!
I require complete focus! Feel! First aid! Get on in there with the others! Lunar Flame!
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Yeah, and the pummeling to me!
Here I come! Annihilation!
No further!
Here's the
Benediction light.
Heal! Dazzle! Lunar Rondo! Here I come!
Storm!
Take this!
Captivity!
Lightning tornado!
Take this!
Dance in the wind!
No dawn.
Orochi's Fury!
A chain between heaven and earth!
You're finished!
A wailing corruption!
Double demon fang! Orochi's Fury!
No dawn! Annihilation!
Here I come!
Now you see what I can do!
Face you! It's over!
Orochi's Alright, it's showtime!
Prepare to
Fire
be
instant wall!
Double demon fang!
Back to the fray!
Now escape! Double demon fang!
Raging
In a bind?
storm!
Orochi's Fury!
Cyan instant!
It's time!
Can you take it? Come forth! Here I go!
Here I come! I'm ready!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
You sure showed them.
All in a day's work.
I wonder how the Renans avoided being mind-controlled like the Helganquil. Do you think it might have something to do with the fact that they were originally Dahnans?
I'd say it's likely, which is pretty ironic when you think about it.
Ironic?
The Renans have committed grave injustices against the Dahnans. But it was all of their own volition, not because they were being controlled. Now, it turns out they themselves were once Dahnans too.
Which must mean that the root of their evil isn't the Great Spirit, but something inherent in all of us. Our free will.
Now hang on, though. It was that same free will that allowed Xion and Dohalim to choose to fight alongside us. Without it, we wouldn't have been able to beat hatred and forge all those connections we've made. Free will is what saved us, right?
Law's entirely right. In any case, it certainly can't hurt to look on the bright side every now and then.
Yeah. Where there's hope, there's a way.
What'd he say?
He said, without a doubt.
Is this a dead end?
It appears this whole room functions as an elevator. That apparatus there is likely what's used to control it.
What the? Where did they come from?
Less worry, more action. Concentrate.
Take this!
Take these things really get on my nerves. Here!
Swordblade Alpha!
Anything in Orpline freaks! Why can't they just sit still?
Xion, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done. Lightning condemned.
I have no limits!
Thunderblade! Illuminate the dark. Magic is in. Holy Land.
Orochi's Fury! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Radiant Housing Gale, tear you to
Try
shreds!
harder! Come and face me!
Lightning now!
Victory is within reach.
Dig deep, and we can do this!
Press this further, little one.
Double Demon Fang!
In the wind! In here!
Orochi's Fury!
Glacial Field, pierce evil! This one's mine!
Show thy mystic mercy.
Raging
I'm ready.
Dohalim! This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes. A merry destruction.
There's still more to go!
You picked the wrong fight!
What did I do? A whirlwind!
You're mine! I'm not done!
Now! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! My turn!
Reinforcements?
Orochi's Fury!
Raging Storm!
You must be tired of healing me.
I'm merely doing what I can to help. Glad you're on up, Dohalim.
A chain between heaven and earth! Do it! Await astral energy!
Say no more!
Searing
Not a
Blast!
chance! Luna Rongo!
Resonate with the earth.
Burn! Next!
More of might. Rending you apart. Bloody howling.
I never fit!
Luna Rongo!
The fluidity of your movements is simply incredible.
Not today!
I'm all stopped up!
Here I come! Orochi's Fury!
A wailing banshee of lightning!
Can't get out of this!
Radiant
No
light!
escape!
Searing flame!
Orochi's Fury!
Tempting! Catapult!
Healing flame of lightning! Glacial spear!
Orochi's Fury! More?
A wailing banshee of lightning! Astral energy!
Say no more! Cut!
Well done!
You're mine! I owe you one! Demon Fang! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! More? Lunarongo!
I'll face you!
Stardust!
Dance in the wind!
It's on!
That'll bring you down!
Stardust!
A chain between heaven and earth!
Soaring
An instant! A wailing
Ether!
density of lightning! Lunar blast! Back to the front! Annihilation! Radiant! Here!
Here I come! Orochi Fury!
Astral energy!
Rending you apart!
Light astral energy!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Scion
I'm ready!
Hammer! Astral energy!
Say no more!
Make more
Keep calm and take them down!
Orochi Fury!
Another incantation ruined.
Double Demon
I'm ready!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
None shall escape the
chance.
sky is
Move
mine!
again.
Blind you into dust.
Lunarongo! It's over!
I never miss! Rise and
Fury!
ready! Hail struck!
Delight!
Double Demon Fang!
Behold! The earth spoke! Tectonic fission!
May a thousand gales carry you to
Orochi
triumph!
Fury!
First aid!
Thanks some
Bloody howling!
Double Demon Fang! You picked the wrong fight!
Being interrupted.
Astral energy! Full throttle! A flawless victory! Naturally! Do it!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Now!
Lightning condense!
Lunarongo!
Thunderblast!
Stardust!
Illuminate the
In your death, Dorkman. Then tonight's meal is on you. You got it.
chain between heaven and earth! A wailing density of lightning! Bring you down! Feel! Get on in there with the other! Lunar corruption!
Bloody howling!
Do it! This one's got your name on it!
Ash to ash!
There!
Not everlasting dark!
Orochi Fury!
Mega ray!
Negative
This
gate.
way!
On your
Front!
It's showtime!
Double Demon Fang!
Do it! Lost! Demons descend!
Flashing fang! My exploits are bearing fruit. Even in such a harsh environment as this, there are still creatures here?
You think they're native to Rena? Or could they be Zoogle somehow?
Whatever they are, they're dangerous. Watch yourselves around them.
You think that pit stretches all the way to Rena's core?
If that's true, then if we go down, we should find the Great Spirit at the bottom.
We could get there even faster if we simply jump down instead.
You so...
Don't get careless!
Don't tell me!
Orochi Fury!
Here! Steering ball! Design
Fucking driving me mad! Orochi Fury!
Pesky airborne scoundrels!
Sounds like a job for yours truly! Carve now through all!
Orochi Fury!
Is that a healing art?
It is. I can't ignore your pain.
I'll try to be more careful.
Sword Rain Alpha! Double Demon Fang! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
I'm ready!
Totally! In an instant! Impact block! We work well together.
Like a finely timed moment.
Stardust!
Now!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
They're surrounding you!
Now! Here I come!
Here!
Stardust!
I'll be sick now!
Greenwell! Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis!
Now!
Lunar corruption!
Lunarongo!
I'm all stuffed up!
Stardust!
A
I'm
wailing
not
density
done!
of Mega Ray! Do it!
You're on!
Get toasty!
Burn strike!
By the power
My
of
turn!
friends! Magnificent without a trace!
Stardust!
Holy land! Now
I'm ready!
Kisara, frozen!
Hammer!
The heavens must be smiling.
Don't get careless!
Pieces!
Don't tell me!
Can't get out of this!
It's over!
Orochi's fury!
Resonate with the earth!
Burn in hell!
These ones can run rings around us. Lunar corruption!
Take this!
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Yeah! And totally to me!
This isn't looking good. Demon Fang!
Pain between heaven and earth.
Elusive deity!
Demon Fang!
Reflect my armor won't save you! Might with blackened blade!
Orochi's fury! The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Orochi's fury! Double Demon Fang! Sword Lane
Glacial spear! Take this!
coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Now! Dueling! This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes. A merry distraction.
My turn!
There's still more to go!
Orochi's fury! Double Demon Fang! Do it again! Orochi's fury! Blast the dust!
Bloody howling!
Burn!
Captain Squall!
Here I
Here's the
go!
healing art!
Lunar Rondo! It's over! Take this!
By the
Double
power
Demon
of
Fang!
Banner without a
Take this!
Oh, violent
Can't get out of this!
Orochi's fury!
Field!
Shattering on
Get
your
out of there, Leon! Astral energy! Full throttle! Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
Another incantation.
I'll take you all off!
Just spot a beast. Anyone?
Armor won't save you!
Orochi's fury! Okay, here I go. This is bad, right?
Yes, Alvin. Very
Prepare to
bad.
be sealed. Actually, perhaps found is more appropriate.
Let's not be more doing.
Allow me to help you.
Magic annihilation. Field.
You're mine! Orochi's fury!
I'll heal you all.
Take this!
Healing
Double Demon Fang!
Dance on the wind!
Orochi's fury!
Flame of fury.
The abyssal deep clear for us a path!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Kisara! All yours, Kisara! Shine! Mighty light!
Dance in the wind. First aid. Air thrust. Tiger's blade. No finish without a
Double
break.
Demon Fang!
Black and
Burn!
May a thousand worlds
Here I come!
far enough!
Thanks so much.
Now or never.
Orochi's
Take
fury!
this!
I'll heal you all. Captain Squall.
No dawn shall break this night!
Astral energy.
Say no more! Shut!
Well done.
Take this!
There.
Double Demon Fang! Orochi's fury! Double Demon Fang! Blast the dust! Lunar Rondo!
Can you take it? Shine! Radiant
Destruction! Take this!
Regenerate!
Try harder!
Thank you.
Not a chance!
All
After being interrupted,
Security! Burning strike! Glacial spear! Here's evil! Raging storm! Here goes! Go together!
forgive me.
You pay for that!
No rest for the wicked.
Double demon
All
fang!
disasters may run! Come forth and heal it!
You picked the wrong fight!
Healing circle!
Double demon fang!
Need to pull myself together! I'll take it from here! Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar!
On your knees.
Oh, violent guardian! Now we're ready!
Double demon fang! Swordland Alpha!
In here!
No escape!
Double demon fang!
Can't get out of this!
Lunar blast! Holy
Roshi
Hold
Fury!
it together! Do or die!
Bestow thy mystic mercy.
Time to let it rip! Double demon fang!
Maybe show Kisara a little kindness, huh?
She is strong. She can handle it.
You can be really dense, though, honey.
Double demon fang! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
I'll heal you all!
Can't do without this pain. You're mine!
Clear for us up now.
It's on!
Came between heaven and earth!
You're mine.
Feel lightning! Here's evil! Freeze Lancer!
Double demon fang!
Here's Fury! I'll be safe!
Double demon fang! Eat dirt!
Raging Freeze Lancer!
Double demon fang! Orochi Fury!
Photon, now!
Blow them away! Everyone's still in one piece? The design of this equipment is really interesting. Sting.
You must really like it, Alphen.
Great, now I'm hurt and dirty. I have a bad feeling about this. As if the normal creepy crawlies aren't disgusting enough.
Now you see what I can do.
Double demon fang! Destruction!
I can handle it!
No escape!
After being interrupted. In a bind.
Here, let me help! First aid!
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for.
Behold! The Earth pulse! Tectonic vision! Beckoned into everlasting
This one's all mine!
By the power of
Negative
God!
gate!
Try harder! Now! Here I come! Double demon fang! Burn!
Ice stricken!
Double demon fang!
Light
Take
acid!
it!
Glacial
Blast
freeze!
out!
Here's evil!
That'll bring you down! Take this!
Lunar Rondo! You're dropped in pain.
You're mine! Lunar Corruption! Lunar Blast! I'm not done! Lightning Condemned! Leave the charges to me! Orochi Fury! In a bind! Lightning without a trace! Divine Savior!
Try harder! Resonate with the earth!
Orochi Fury!
Stalagmite! A thrilling performance.
So the flame inside me yearns to be let free.
Raging
Double Demon Fang! Orochi
Sorry. I didn't want to put you out.
What a friend's for if you can't depend on one.
coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Here,
Double Demon Fang!
Here! Photon dance in the wind! Here!
Double Demon Fang! Orochi Fury! Try harder! Now! You're mine! I'm not done! Eat dirt!
Lunar Blast!
Lunar Rondo!
Eat dirt!
Shut up!
Thunder Field! There you go! Don't let up!
You're mine!
Nothing gets by me!
I'm ready!
Kitara! Go for it! Prepare to crumble!
Looks like it could be worth something.
These structures don't look like anything built by the Renans, or even what we saw in the Forbidden Zone.
Perhaps this is the true architectural style of the Helganquil. Or perhaps the opposite, given their situation.
You mean like how some places favor building stuff with stone, while others rely on wood?
That's an interesting way of looking at it. I'll have to inquire with Evrek 35 about it sometime.
This one's tough!
Can't get out of this!
Orochi Fury!
Glacial Spear!
Demon Lash!
Orochi Fury!
Stay on the ground!
Come one, come all!
I'll face you!
A wall to got fire!
I've got this! Let a marksman handle it!
All yours!
Chain between heaven and earth!
Not today!
A wailing banshee of lightning!
Mirage!
Begin!
Here I come!
Savior!
No escape!
Do it! Astral energy! Full throttle! A flawless victory!
Here I come!
Natural!
Lunar Rondo! Stardust! Lunar Rondo! It's over! Lunar Rondo!
Now! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
All of
Not
the
yet!
made one!
Look at it!
Healing of purity! Do
Double
it!
Demon Fang!
This one's got your name on it!
Ash to ash!
Now! Lunar Rondo! I'm not done!
Resonate with the earth!
Here I come!
Let's do it! Astral energy!
Say no more!
I need to be stronger.
This one will be difficult to predict.
Okay, here I go! Orochi Fury! Damn it!
Shine! Radiant light! Pulse of regeneration!
Be still!
Regenerate!
A Lunar Rondo!
From calamity!
Barrier!
A chain between heaven and earth! A wailing
I'm ready.
Kitara! Frozen!
Hammer! Bestow thy mystic mercy!
Double Demon Fang!
Freezing storm!
Reflect on thy
Burn in hell!
Flawless light!
Double Demon Fang! Orochi Fury!
execution! I'm ready!
Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done!
Kitara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone! I must keep striving.
You can ease off yourself.
Pot calls the kettle black.
Good advice for all of us, to be honest.
those thorns.
I'm not letting them get in our way!
This might be some decent equipment.
Anything that makes battles easier is okay by me.
This one will be difficult to predict.
The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Will this help? Light astral energy!
Double demon fang!
Careful! It has some kind of camouflage!
Take this!
Burning!
Double demon! Rotate fury!
Thunderblade!
Try harder! My turn!
I must remember my limits.
Holy Lance! Must require complete focus!
Double demon
Will it
fang!
better? Lunar corruption! Lunar blast! I'm already nailed!
I'm in your deck, Dohalim.
I'll take it from here. Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar! I'm going to use the power of my healing arts to accomplish this.
You'll pay for that! Soda! Ignite!
I'll bring you down from that abyss.
Mirage! Take
I
this!
can't hold on much longer!
This has a most peculiar taste.
Take this!
Radiant Blade! Lunar corruption! That'll bring you down!
Orochi Fury!
Dance in the wind!
Double demon fang! Double demon fang! Orochi Fury! Plasma Dust! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Benediction.
Double demon fang!
Wind astral energy!
I don't know what I'd do without you. A charge from
Perhaps
Dust
now
easily
isn't that
fatal.
time?
Just as well, I'm here to stop.
A chain between heaven and earth.
Double demon fang!
I will
Flame
against
inside what you do without this pain. Double demon fang!
Being interrupted.
Leave the enemy's arts to me.
No place here!
It looks like you got this one covered.
Mirage! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Double demon fang!
Lightning condemned. Thunder Blaze!
Ready
to go! Get back into the fray! Illuminate the sun! Come forth, only deliver! By the power of Holy Land!
You must be tired of healing me.
I'm merely doing what I can.
Glad you're on up, Dohalim.
Amazing. Gotta hold it together. Here, let's do our job. Magic Blade! Sealed! Confiscated!
Double demon fang! Orochi Fury!
Shield! Do it! Kisara, frozen!
Hammer!
Everyone's still in one piece? This one's up!
This one's mine! Lionheart! Steering flame! Reload! May a thousand gale radiant appear!
The flame inside me yearns to be let loose! We got flyers!
I've got this! Let a marksman handle it!
All yours!
You got company!
Can you take it?
Yes, it's a win!
Orochi's Fury!
Burn! I'm all stuffed up! Hold on to your heart! Here I come!
Orochi's Fury! I can carve through one!
Rise and shine! Firmament ready!
I'm ready!
Xion, astral energy! Full throttle! A flawless victory! Naturally!
Here I come! No escape! Thanks! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
On your
Double Demon Fang!
I never miss!
Orochi's Fury! Last shock!
Divine Strength!
I'm ready!
Xion, astral energy! Full throttle!
The heavens must be smiling.
Really bad feeling about this.
Here come and face me! This one's all mine!
Freezing burn!
Is that a healing art? It is. Can't be doing anything. Don't try to be more careful.
A wailing Yanji of lightning! Show me what your heart can do! Rise in here!
No, can't get out of this!
More for the stockpile! Now! Astral energy!
Say no more! Shut!
Well done! Now! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! No, you can't!
I'm ready!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Haha! Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
Don't get careless!
Don't tell me!
Time to let it rip! Time to cross blade!
Far enough! Bloody howling! Here I go!
Orochi's Fury!
Dance in the wind!
The flame inside me yearns to be let
thrilling performance.
Air thrust!
Soaring blast!
A chain between heaven
You're
and
on!
earth!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Benediction.
Double Demon Fang!
Raging Cascade!
Double Demon Fang!
Glacial Field! Pierce evil
You're
between
mine!
heaven and earth! Freeze laser! Away!
Try harder!
Charge like that can easily be
You're
faded.
mine!
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
You picked the wrong fight! Orochi Fury!
Need to pull myself together.
Sorry to trouble you.
You do the same for me.
Ready to go!
Raging Storm! That'll bring you down.
It's over! Try harder!
All
Lunar Rondo! Sona!
Helix of Purity! Lunar
You're mine!
Lunar
I'm not
Blast!
done!
I'm all stocked up!
Sona!
Laser Ray! Annihilation!
No escape!
Green Astral Energy!
Double Demon Fang!
Bloody holiday!
Sona!
Radiant
Take it!
Fire!
No escape! This one's all mine!
Chain between heaven and earth! A wailing Banshee of
Double
Lightning!
Demon Fang!
Mega Ray!
Burn in hell!
Annihilation!
Denied!
Orochi Fury!
Raging Orb! Raging
Flaming
Cascade!
Thrust!
Pierce evil!
Sona!
Is that a healing art?
It is. I can't ignore your pain.
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Double Demon Fang!
Raging Luna Sword! Can't get out of this!
Thunder Flame of
Sona!
Glacial Field!
Take this! Here I come! I'm not done! Go down! Double Demon Fang!
All disaster!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
I'm ready!
Chain between... This one's got your name on it!
Ash to ash!
I feel stronger. I mean, a bit.
Good. We're counting on you, Rinwell.
On me? Well, I'll do my best. Got a really bad feeling about this.
You're mine! Strike! Double Demon Fang! You picked the wrong fight! Orochi Fury!
Ready to go!
Double Demon Fang!
Pierce evil!
It's on! Orochi Fury! Come one, come all! Now, here I come!
Can you take it?
Double Demon Fang! Ignite!
All disasters
Double Demon Fang!
Sion, Astral Energy! Full throttle! A flawless victory!
Take this!
Naturally!
Sona!
Raging Storm! Now!
Totally! In an instant! Impact block! My turn!
Excited!
Lunar Rondo! Catapult! Sona!
Do it! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! I can feel my power growing!
Hey, look at that enemy. It's shining.
versa! This one's tough! Now! You're mine! No further! Double Demon Fang!
That's not even fair!
No escape! Double hit on! Orochi's Fury! Lightning Thrust! Double Demon Fang!
Demon Blast! Eagle Ray!
Free from regret.
Too much!
Will this help? There you go! Don't let up! Healing circle!
I'll face you! I owe you one!
I'll bring you back from death to
Death on
death!
the wind! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Just what the doctor ordered!
Shine! Double Demon Fang!
Permanent Render!
You're mine!
Thank you, Dahlin.
I only did what any other would.
I think you're nicer than you let on.
I've been hit with something!
So even a masochist has his limits.
Not feeling so great.
Double Demon Fang!
No art of being interrupted.
Burn in hell!
Let's get you all tucked away!
Double Demon Fang!
Tempest!
Stardust!
Alright, it's showtime! Out of outstanding form! Annihilation!
Double Demon Fang! Try harder! I'm not done! Double Demon Fang!
Elusive deity!
You're mine!
Raging
No escape!
Eagle Ray!
Lightning Thrust!
Glacial Spear! Air Thrust! I never miss! I can do this all
Luna
day!
Rondo! Strike!
A freezing storm! All disaster!
Double Demon Fang! This one's all mine! Ignite!
Force of regeneration!
Maelstrom!
Stardust!
Regenerate!
You're mine! I'm not done! Luna Rondo!
Vaguely
I can carve through armor! Catapult!
Healing Circle!
I'm in your debt.
Lunar Corruption!
Lightning Thrust!
Back into the fray!
Behold! The Earth's pulse! Tectonic vision! I'll face
Double
you!
Demon Fang! Orochi's Fury!
Holy Glimmer!
Reflect on that!
Be still!
They smite with blackened flame!
A wailing bounty of
Execution!
In here!
Take this!
Lunar Blast! In there with the others!
Orochi's Fury!
I'm going to need to rely all the power of my healing life to accomplish this!
Double Demon Fang!
I'm ready!
Don't leave! In an instant! Impact Block!
Remember to tell me if you need heal.
I expect you'll be in high demand if that's the case.
bad feeling about this.
Double Demon Fang!
Bronze and red. I think I'll pass on the handshake. Glacial Spear.
Stay calm.
Fire!
I shall provide assistance.
Let a marksman handle it.
I'm not done! All yours!
I'm going to need to use all of my healing arts to accomplish this.
It's too much! Double Demon Fang! You're mine! You picked the wrong fight! This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Good! I'll leave it to you! Luna Rondo! I'm ready!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alvin!
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you!
Stardust! Take that! Dragon Blade! Orochi Fury!
None shall escape my
Eat
judgment!
dirt!
Wind Astral Energy!
Orochi Fury!
Ranger! Do it, Neon! Astral Energy! Full throttle!
My turn! Here I come!
Raging Luna!
We turn the tables on it!
Now! Astral Energy!
Say no more! Not a chance!
Lunar Corruption! Lightning Condemn! Thunderbolt! Lightning Condemn!
Now you see what I can do!
The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Orochi Fury! Dazzle! Stardust! Burn!
A thrilling performance.
Take this!
In a bind?
Stardust! It's over! Here I Pull nothing back!
Loud magic!
Double Demon Fang! Orochi Fury!
Evil!
Be still!
Freeze Lancer!
Stardust!
Radiant Pierce!
Double
Lightning Orb!
Demon Fang! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Try harder!
Far enough!
Orochi Fury!
Begin!
The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Demon Light! You require a
Take this!
soaring
There
blast!
you go! Don't let out!
I'm nearly done for.
Double Demon Fang!
Thank you.
A wailing banshee of lightning!
Resonate with the
Eat
earth.
dirt!
I never miss!
Orochi Fury!
Here's a healing art!
Dazzle!
First illuminate the dark! Magic corruption!
Our arts are being interrupted.
Stardust! Mirage! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Let me show you what you now!
Handle it. Rinwell! Light burst forth.
Radiant Genesis!
They've really got us on the ropes.
Don't forget to heal your wound. I found some equipment.
Let me take a look at it.
This one will be difficult to predict.
Come and face me! Take this! Orochi Fury! It can hide itself? Amazing!
Elusive deity!
Double Demon Fang!
Demon Lash! Eagle Ray!
This one's all mine!
What would I do without Raging Cascade?
Why'd you heal me?
To stop you dying?
In here!
Luna Rondo!
Get you all out to win!
They
Take
might...
this!
None shall escape! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alvin!
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you!
In a
bind?
inside me yearns to be let free!
Mega Red! Now! Demons descend!
Flashing Fang!
Blazing Storm!
Double Demon
Raging
Fang!
Luna! You showed I missed you.
Lightning orb!
Double demon fang! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Anguish darkness!
Eat this!
I'm only getting started!
Seismic lightning thrust!
Mega ray! Divine! There you go! Don't let up!
Here I come! Thrust!
Air pressure!
You'll finish! Thrust!
I'll face you.
Here I go!
Double demon fang!
Take this!
You're mine! I'm not done!
Raging lunar!
Here's evil! A wailing energy of lightning!
Take this! Double demon fang! Take this! No escape!
My natural defenses are fading. I'm a sitting duck!
Retreat from this battle.
Retreat? I would never.
In a bind? Reflect on that. I'll smash they you! Smite with black and gold!
The flame inside me!
I'll stop its charge!
Thanks, Kisara.
I don't even know the word defeat.
Double demon fang!
Lunar
Take this!
I've taken too much damage!
Double demon fang!
By the power of flame! A wailing banshee of light!
Stop!
Explosion!
Regenerate!
Burning thrust! Go get it! Dance in the wind! Air thrust!
Double demon fang!
Heed the enemy's arcs to me.
Double demon fang!
No place here!
Seal.
Be still!
Thanks for the healing.
Watch yourself, okay?
Yeah, you too.
Ignite!
Can you take it?
Orochi Fury! Be still!
Here's evil! A wailing banshee of light!
In a bind?
Here's
I'm really done for.
I owe you one.
Hold on to your art.
Double
Here
demon
I come.
fang! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Shining supernova!
Do it!
Remove!
Astral energy!
Say no more! I can feel my power growing!
What do you think this place was for?
What the hell? Are they asleep?
No. They appear to be well preserved. However, they are all dead.
Dead? So this is a mass grave?
Looks that way. However, none of them appear to be Helganquil.
Bear in mind that Renans were originally Dahnans, who were remade and sent to live on Lenegis. Knowing that, they would have needed a place to perform the procedures somewhere.
And that place is here, I assume.
So what you're saying is that all of these are Dahnan, or rather, Renan bodies?
Most likely, yes. It must have been abandoned for one reason or another.
There are so many of them. They were all taken away, but never given the chance to wake.
What is that thing?
Something we have to fight if we want to get across, it seems.
Be careful! It's huge!
What is with all this... These lumbering beasts lately?
It's no ordinary Zubul. That much is damn sure.
Watch yourself. All bets are off when it comes to this thing. Orochi's Fury!
Glacial Spear!
Here I come!
Can't be destroyed!
Shield from calamity.
Double Demon Fist! Orochi's Fury!
Eagle Ray. Sorry, trouble.
Double Demon Fist!
Its head is its weak point. We'll need to bring it down somehow to hit it.
In that case, let's start with the one in the middle.
No escape! You're
Thunder
finished!
Bloody
Double Demon Fist!
on your knees.
You're mine! Double Demon!
Let me show you what my art can do! Rise and Thunder Field!
Ignite!
A banana!
Bloody howling.
Sleep
No
now!
escape!
This Glacial Spear! Pierce evil!
Take
Lightning Orb! Banana, let's go! It looks like you got this one covered!
Be still!
Heaven and Earth!
No
Into the
escape!
shadows! A wailing
Lunarondo!
lightning!
Bloody
Finish! Get out
Mirage!
there with the others!
I'm not done!
Raging Cascade!
Another incantation ruined.
Double Demon Fang!
Let me help you!
Double Demon Fang!
A chain between heaven and earth! A wailing Cascade!
Double Demon Fang!
Magic is there! And rock! Healing
Here I come!
I owe you, Sion. Healing is what my art do best. All mine can do is cause havoc and
No
destruction.
further! Yours to be left free! Double Demon Fang!
Here's in the dance
You're
in the wind!
finished!
Elusive being!
You're mine!
A chain between heaven and earth! A wailing but sleep now!
Double Demon Fang!
Let's get you all tucked away!
So thy mystic mercy.
You're mine!
Be still!
What would I do without you? Thank you, Darlene.
I only did what any other would.
I think you're nicer than you let on.
Resonate with
Not today!
Holy Land!
Lunarondo!
What would I do without you? Finish without a trace! A please thirst! Raging Cascade!
Lightning Thrust!
Explosion! Dance in the wind!
Thrill.
Here! Glacial Spear! Here's the evil! You all
Rising Worship!
Free Blazer!
Rotating pile
Lightning Orb!
Tornado drive.
I'll
face you. Elusive
Magic
deity.
is there! Air thrust! Archer Fire complete!
Double Demon Fang!
Here I go! Here goes! Only get lightning in
You must be tired of healing me. I'm merely doing what I can. Glad you're on our side, Dopamine.
Raging Luna Storm.
I'm ready! Astral energy! Full throttle!
Regeneration!
Thank you for the healing, Dovaline.
Our comrades need our ability to survive.
Right. No one is dying on our watch.
Double demon fang! Bloody howling!
Take this! Where are you going? They're not playing around!
Orochi Fury!
Show you what my art can do!
Elusive deity!
Shine!
Dating pile driver!
In here! Resurrection! Let's get you off that way!
Lunar Rondo!
Came the green
Elusive deity!
A wailing champion blade!
Try harder! Now! You're mine!
Lightning condemned!
Orochi Fury!
One
He gets flame inside! You're mine!
No further.
You'll pay for that!
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't.
This should do it! Bloody howling! Double demon fang! Stalagmite! Our spirit is through me! You picked the wrong fight!
It's about to strike!
Take this! Look sharp, everyone!
There you go! Don't let up! Glacier Spear! Here's evil!
Strike! Lunar Rondo! It's over!
What in the world? Dovaline! I'm alright. I'm still standing. Why'd you heal me?
To stop you dying?
Ah, right.
The doctor will hasten! Oh, violent darting! Now through all crossplay!
Double demon fang!
Being interrupted.
Orochi Fury!
Wind after energy!
Double demon fang!
Lightning raging cascade!
There!
A chain between heaven and earth!
Sorry. I didn't want to put you out.
What are friends for if we can't depend on them?
You're right. I'll bear that in mind.
Double demon fang! Bloody howling! Lightning throw! Soda! Regeneration! Lunar Rondo! It's over! Regenerate! Take this!
We got him on the run.
Don't get cocky!
No further. Still anyone's fight.
I'll be saving this!
Forgive me.
I don't even know the word defeat. I'm going to use you all.
The enemy is going all out!
Double demon fang!
Back to the fray!
Here I come! Little escape! Lunar Rondo! Soda! The flame inside me yearns! Ignite!
The fluidity of your movement is simply incredible.
You're mine! Little escape! Regeneration! Regenerate!
A chain between heaven and earth!
You require a
A
hand.
wailing banshee of lightning!
I'm not done! Lunar Rondo!
Here!
Soda! It's over!
That'll bring you down.
Lunar Rondo!
Outstanding form.
A wailing banshee of lightning!
Double demon fang! It's gonna attack!
Right,
Double
watch
demon
out.
fang!
Amazing.
Soda!
Radiant over here! More Holy Land! Healing circle! Between heaven and earth!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss.
A wailing in here!
I can't heal you forever.
Come in handy!
Lunar Rondo!
No rest for the wicked.
Lunar Captain! Lunar Blast!
Double demon fang!
Annihilation!
Try harder! Not a chance!
Holy Land!
Strike!
Light Astral Beacon!
Double demon fang! Try harder! My turn to be seen!
We can't get out of this!
It's over!
Will this help?
This one's all mine!
Demon Land.
Lightning Lord!
You picked the wrong fight!
Soaring Blast.
Seal!
Double demon fang!
Let's do it.
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclops.
The hell was that thing?
Probably something that was made here and somehow managed to survive, even after all this time. Not that there's any way of knowing now.
What's wrong?
Oh, I just suddenly found myself contemplating what might have happened to the sovereigns that were meant to emerge from the crown contests.
What do you mean?
You see, the winners of the past crown contests were all strong astral arts practitioners. Furthermore, that enemy we just fought appeared to be composed of several human bodies. It was certainly nothing one would find in nature.
You're saying those were the remains of the winners? That they forgot who they once were?
I'm merely saying it's a possibility.
That's absolutely gruesome. How long had the Helganquil been at this?
It was Rena's great spirit that made them do all of this. Anything to get its astral energy.
We're not gonna jump down, right?
I certainly hope not.
After hearing Dohanium's suggestion, I'm honestly not sure what to say.
I assure...
So, looks like the Helganquil have been engineering Zeugles too. Why doesn't that surprise me at this point?
The creatures we've been encountering here have been a little different to what we're used to fighting, but I'm pretty sure they're Zeugles too.
Do you think they were engineered using creatures native to the area?
Indeed. However, based on the current circumstances, I would guess these Zeugles are all that's left of the planet's fauna now.
You mean, there might have been native owl species here once upon a time too?
We're back in that other room? Did the teleporter fail or something?
Something feels off about it.
Look! Everything's upside down!
The furnishings are, at least. No, you're right. The whole room's flipped on its head.
So what was once down is now up, and vice versa. I suppose the teleporter reversed our orientation then.
What do you say we check back in on the ranch?
Finally. If only we could have flown with the wind to get here faster.
Yeah! Hey.
Uh-huh.
Yeah! Just great.
I guess... Thanks.
Huh? Well... All right.
Uh-huh.
All right. I guess.
Whew.
Got it.
That was quite the little adventure we went on.
Is this the barrier that's keeping the Zoogle that Nath mentioned?
Looks like it. Our Zoogle pal should be on the other side.
This barrier is weird. It looks old and half-finished. Plus, he said it was okay to break.
I mean, we won't need it anymore once the Zoogle's gone, right? So what does it matter? Did they really think that barrier was enough for a Zoogle like that?
It was. That thing was sturdier than you give it credit for.
Really? So that's the Zoogle, huh? This should be a piece of cake.
Don't get careless, Law.
Yikes! Don't make eye contact with it!
This one's tough, but we... No choice.
Let me know if you need healing. If I do.
Bet that shell's hiding something tasty. I'll take you. Exploit the enemy's weakness.
Glad you have your uses.
I'll show you how useful I can be.
Photon, lightning contest.
Free from regret.
Raging
Luna Storm.
I'm going to need to use all the power of my healing arts to accomplish this.
Elucidity.
Resurrection! There you go! Don't let up!
Double demon fang!
Leave the enemy's arts to me!
Eagle Ray! No complaints here!
Whoa! Hey! Lunar Blast! It's Double
demon fang!
I'm going to need to use
negative
all the power of my healing arts to accomplish this.
Your hands now. Stay away from my friends! Double demon fang!
A wailing banshee of lightning! In here! Ready to go! Get on in there! Art expert coming through! We're on the top field! A chain between heaven and earth! A wailing banshee of lightning! Here's a healing! Goodbye! Save one more time!
Thanks, Jill. Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry.
Not today!
I'm going to use all the power of my healing arts to accomplish.
Be still!
Illuminate the dark!
Luna Rondo!
Your death.
Elusive Deity!
Here goes!
Rotating pile driver!
Lightning!
Double demon fang!
Sleep now!
This should do it! Double demon fang! Take this! Take this! Rotating Fury! Eagle Ray!
Can you take it, Wolfu?
Not now, not ever! Double demon
Thrilling
fang!
performance.
Begin! Now you see what I can do! Double demon fang! Seismic rupture!
Glacial spear! Here's Ethan!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Steel Force! Whoa! Hey! When it is time! Annihilation!
Rotating Fury!
Annihilation!
Catapult! Catapult! Stunner!
Furnace without a trace!
Take that! Luna Rondo! You're finished! Need dirt! Luna Rondo! Stunner!
Anything in armor is all
The official team clear for us to pass!
Take this!
Rotating Fury!
Gusty nail!
Demon Blast! Tornado Drive! Double Demon Fang!
Lightning it looks like you got this one covered! Navigating!
Luna Rondo!
Annihilation! By the power! Finish without a trace!
They smite with Rotating Fury! No!
Here,
Can't end! Here!
Don't give up!
Double Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang!
Art expert coming through!
Bestow
Light
thy
us
mystic mercy.
Lemonade render a blast!
Fairy Circle! Okay.
Arrow squall!
Double Demon
That is
Fang!
dreams!
Now, all it's really
Take it down!
Rotating Fury!
I'm going to need
The
to use
flame
all the
inside me
power of
yearns
my
to be
healing
let
arts.
free!
I need supernova!
No further!
Raging cascade!
Mirage!
Seal!
Rotating Fury! Captivity!
More for the stockpile! Lightning condensing!
Double Demon Fang!
One more time!
Ignite!
Air!
Double Demon Fang!
A wailing banshee of lightning! Outstanding form! Get on the
Elusive
board!
Deity!
Far enough!
Can you take it? Double Demon! Tornado Drive! Rotating Fury! I'll blind you with the sun! Elusive Deity! Double Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang!
Everlasting don't mind if I do!
Eagle Ray! Double Demon Fang!
Tempest Swirl!
Timing Thrust!
Alright, blaze it up time!
Amazing.
Luna!
Benediction light.
May 1,000 gales carry
This should do it!
Dusty
Double
nail!
Demon Fang!
Lunar Corruption!
The flame inside me is yours to be
Back
let
into
free!
the fray! Mega Ray!
Serpent!
Lightning Orb! Downfall!
Not today!
Hold on to your art! Here I come!
Double Demon Fang!
Finish without a trace!
Lightning Thrust! Take this! Lunar
Not
Rondo!
in your dreams!
Leave the charges to me!
Do it!
Kisara! All yours, Kisara!
A chain between heaven and earth! A wailing bounty of lightning in an instant!
Here I come!
The enemy is going all out!
Double Demon Fang! I'll smash you! Orochi Fury!
Hold on to your art! Here I come!
Now it's my turn!
Hey, drinking orb! A banana!
Double Demon! Double Demon Fang!
Illuminate the dark!
Thanks!
Come forth! Holy
Double
Quiver!
Demon Fang!
Holy Land! Steel
Orochi Fury!
Captivity!
You're mine!
Corruption! Lunar Blast! Thunderblade! Illuminate! Come forth! Holy Quiver! Recover!
Ready and ready!
A chain between heaven and earth! None shall escape my
Double
sword!
No thunder!
Then tonight's meal is on you.
You got it!
I won't give up!
The flame inside! You pay for that! Double Demon Fang!
Back from death's abyss! I can feel the medicine working. Lunar Blast!
Double Demon Fang!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss. A new lease on life. Let the marksman handle this.
Orochi Fury! It's gonna attack!
Right,
Orochi
watch out!
Fury!
I can carve through armor!
I still got some fight left in me. Lunar
Double
Corruption!
Demon Fang!
Lunar... Hey, drinking orb! Here goes! I'm going to need you.
Double Demon Fang!
Come forth, Holy Land! Thanks for the healing. Watch yourself, okay? Yeah, you too. Divine Savior! I don't even know the word defeat. Bring you back from death's abyss.
Double Demon Fang!
Glacial Spear! Here's evil!
Ready and ready! I'm not done! Lunar Rondo!
Let's get you all tucked away!
Blast the shock!
A chain between heaven and earth!
Double Demon Fang!
Now you see what I can do! Tornado Drive!
Double
Thunderblade!
From beyond, imbued is vanquished
Level
soul!
up, Holy Land! A chain
Try
between
harder!
heaven and earth!
Not a chance!
A wailing banshee of
Try
lightning!
harder! You're mine! Fluid skip! Double Demon Fang!
Anything in armor is all mine!
Incredible power.
That move!
Burn in hell! Here comes the big one!
Not in your dreams! Lunar Corruption!
Double Demon Fang!
I'm ready!
Try harder! Now! You're mine!
Forgive me.
Denied!
Orochi Fury!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
Smash you!
Illuminate the dark! Come forth, Holy Land! A chain between heaven and earth!
Can't move!
A wailing banshee of lightning! Lightning orb! Illuminate the dark! I won't give up! Holy Land! A chain between heaven and earth! A wailing banshee of lightning!
From beyond, imbued is... Vanquished, I healed myself. Now or never. Eagle Ray!
I'm... sorry.
Don't get carried away!
I can't lose! Resuscitation! Let me show you what my art can do! Rise and shine! Resurrection! I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
Such unadulterated fury.
Let the marksman handle this!
That's gonna smart.
I'll grind you into dust!
Lightning to death!
Double demon fang!
All the power of my healing art.
Demon take this!
A wailing Dancy of lightning!
More than enough for now! Double demon fang! On your knees!
Here I go!
You're mine!
I'm all wrapped up!
Orochi's fury! This one's all mine! Darkness! Ignite! Negative gate! Double demon fang! On your knees! Double demon fang! Now you see what I can do!
I've still got the violence in me!
Can you take it? Crushing flash! Double demon fang! Can't get out of this!
Illuminate the dark! Come forward, holy glimmer!
Take this!
I won't give up!
You! Everlasting! Stay away from my prey! Double demon fang!
Photons illuminate the dark!
Double demon fang!
Rending
you apart! Try harder!
Far enough!
Bloody howling! Double demon fang! Double demon fang! Resuscitation! Double demon fang!
Raging storm! Close light! It's about to strike!
Look sharp, everyone! Double demon fang! This is looking good!
Air thrust! Photons air thrust!
Try harder! Marker! Orochi's fury! You picked the wrong fight! Forgive me.
I'll bring you back to illuminate the dark! Come forth, holy glimmer! Can't be happening! A chain between heaven and earth! A wailing Dancy of lightning!
Leave the target to me!
Thank you, Selhonen.
I only did what any other would.
Double demon fang!
I think you're nicer than you let on.
Fury!
I can't lose!
Prepare to be seized!
A chain between heaven and earth!
Anything in armor is all
Illuminate
mine!
the dark! Art expert, come
I could do without this thing!
This one is almost in the bag!
But not done yet. Just falling back.
Then it's time for you to do what you do best!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! On your knees.
Flame of fury! Water astral energy! They're not playing around! Confiscate! Freeze laser!
Bloody howling! Double demon fang! Shattering the pieces! Attack time! Here I come! Can you take it? You picked the wrong fight! Is this it?
Don't leave me!
I owe you, Tion. Healing is what my arts do best. All mine can do is cause havoc and destruction.
Hit! One more blast! Take that! One last one! Close one! Gotcha!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Now you see what I can do! Annihilation! By the power of
Air
flame!
pressure!
Here goes!
Destruction! Demon Fang!
Take that!
Dance on the wind!
One last one! I'll bring you
On
back
your
from death.
knees.
Here goes!
Alpha!
Concentration! Thunder Field!
Not done yet!
Hut!
You're mine!
One more! Here's the net! May a thousand gales tear you to shreds! Gusty nail! Here!
Demon Lash!
Bullseye! Hit! Go get him!
I'll smash you!
One last one! The enemy is going all out!
Is this it?
I'll bring you back. That's a bit. I'll bring you back from...
Nothing will hold me back.
Here, let me help.
I owe you one.
First aid! I'll bring you back from Death's Abyss.
It's in your hands now.
Take this! I've still got some fight left in me.
Try harder! Not a chance!
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Not a chance!
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't.
Double Demon Fang!
Armor won't save you!
Double Demon Fang! There's a flame inside me! Yours
A
to be
wailing
let
dance
free!
of lightning!
Luna Rondo!
Far enough! Sleep now. Into the shadow! Let's get you out of the way!
Double Demon Fang!
Can't be happening!
Double Demon Fang!
Imbue this vanquished soul with life!
Raging storm!
Double Demon Fang!
Such unadulterated fury!
Can't lose!
Ignite!
Force of regeneration! No!
Can't end here!
A wailing sometimes the best medicine is the toughest
Another
to swallow,
incantation
too.
ruined!
Here goes!
This has a most peculiar taste.
Thunder field! Oh!
From beyond,
Here goes!
imbue this vanquished soul
Take
with
that!
life!
Bullseye!
It's in your hands now.
Here's another! Already!
Double Demon Fang!
Thunder field!
Demon Fang!
I'll smash you!
Swallow Blade! Double Demon Fang! Destruction!
Take that! Thunder field! Far enough! Close one! Right back at ya! Here goes!
Take this! Now you see what I can do!
Right back at ya! Kisara, frozen!
Hammer!
Huh? What's a letter doing in a place like this?
Hell if I know. I highly doubt that Zoogle was trying to guard it. Still, somebody must have left it for some... Law.
Huh? What's up?
Something up?
It's from my old man. My dear son, I wonder how things will be between us by the time you read this.
In any case, I first want to congratulate you on all that you've accomplished. Making it this far requires a strong body, fine technique, an unwavering spirit, and most of all, friends that you can count on. If you have all of that, then I, as your father, have nothing to worry about. Those things together will always keep you on the right path. That brings me to what I really wish to discuss with you. As with all of us, there will someday come a time when you'll be a grown man who can and must think and act for himself. Whether you'll live in a world where blood will no longer be spilled between Dahnans and Renans, or when that day arrives, nobody can say. But even if peace still eludes us then, you'll have to decide how to live in this world. Listen to others with an open heart, but don't be swept away by their words. Always live on your terms. One more thing. If I ever see you again, I hope to say this to you in person, but neither of us knows what tomorrow may bring. Know this. Whatever you think of me and what I've done, Your mother and I love you very, very much.
And there's nothing in this whole world that will ever change that. Your father, Zephyr.
Zephyr.
I can't believe he's only telling me all this after he's gone. What am I supposed to do with this?
Zephyr once told me that living freely meant being your own master. I think he wanted to make sure you know how he felt one way or another. What you do with that knowledge is up to you.
But that still doesn't explain why his father left that letter for him here, of all places.
Don't forget, we were led to this place. We may well get some answers if we go back to the source of all this.
Always good to be back in familiar territory. Hey.
Hey.
I guess... No way. Damn.
Whew. All right.
This is...
Thanks.
You okay, Law? You seem kind of quiet.
I'm fine. Just feels a little weird returning home now that my dad's not here, I guess. Oh man, sorry. I didn't mean to bum you out, too.
So I guess that means you'll be visiting your dad's grave while you're here. Right, Law?
His grave? What are you, nuts? There is no grave. The Rena would only destroy it the moment they found it.
Back before Calaglia was liberated, dead slaves would be dumped in mass burial sites. Either that or thrown on top of a bonfire. We got used to cremating our own to deny them the pleasure. Then we'd sprinkle the ashes from high up as a way of returning them to the motherland.
It's all we could do. That's the ceremony we had when my mom died, too.
But that was back then, right? Calaglia is liberated now. There's nothing to stop you from raising a true grave anymore.
I suppose you've got a point. Once you've been doing something for generations, though, it sort of begins to take root. It's a tradition of its own now.
My dad wouldn't want that anyway. Cheap and simple, he'd say. Besides, I can't treat him differently than my mom. They might not end up meeting on the other side.
I hadn't thought of it like that. Wow, imagine. The two of them reunited, back home where they belong. They're probably watching over us right now, at one with great Dana. There's something almost poetic about it.
That's why I can't afford to screw up. If I know my pops, something as paltry as death won't stop him from coming to box my ears. Still, better than being left alone, I guess. Better than never knowing. You hear that, Dad? I'll make you proud. You'll see.